The sound is okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. A very good morning and welcome to the Talking Point radio program on JOYFM Radio. And this program comes your way every Sunday between 10 and 12 hours. And of course, today we'll be actually looking at various issues pertaining to what is obtaining on the ground. And we will also be looking at or having a focus on issues of the 2021 August 12 general elections. McFarlane Munyanga is my name, and you can join us as well as we obviously get to give you an understanding of what is interesting in so far as issues bordering on this year's election is actually concerned. And mainly, we will be focusing on this year's elections. And to discuss these matters with me, here is the Patriotic Front PF Information and Publicity Desk Chief Administrator Erasmus Chendela Mukondo. Good morning, Mr. Mukondo.
Good morning, Comrade McFarlane, and good morning to our viewers out there and our listener.
Great. And remember, dear listener, you are also watching this program running live on our official Facebook page. That is JOYFM Zambia. You can get to type JOYFM Zambia as in one word. You leave a space, then you type Zambia. And of course, that's how you'll be able to follow what is contained in issues of our discussion today. First of all, let's get to look at an understanding of issues bordering on the 2021-2026 Patriotic Front PF Manifesto. And of course, we are told that this manifesto actually encompasses various issues. I haven't gone through it, largely, but I'm yet to do so because I know that I will have access to, the booklet so that I get to understand what the Patriotic Front PF Manifesto is all about. Issues of democracy and good governance. Let's get to look at that particular matter. Tell us more regarding, good governance and, democracy.
Well, the issue of good governance and democracy, we have continued from where the MMD left, and that is in 2011. And if you look at where the MMD left in terms of good governance and democracy, we still continue on that positive trajectory, and that is to make sure that the wings of government and the people's participation in the issues of government continues on that trajectory. And this borders especially on issues to do with the Ministry of Justice, and also if we look at where you are coming from, the journalist himself, they should be able to talk to the people, the ordinary people they are out there, the way it's supposed to happen. So basically, we have continued on that positive trajectory, and we have not only left the other stakeholders, like the religious stakeholders. We have now the Ministry of Religious Affairs, which helps also to enhance our democracy and the institution of democracy. The other one is the Ministry of Chiefs. The Ministry of Chiefs has also been brought on board so that they can enhance the issue of democracy. And, we have one Republican president by the name of One Edgar Chagwalungu. I think very well in 2020, somewhere in November, he has continued echoing the same statement when it comes to you, the journalist, journalism and your professionalism, how you are important as the fourth estate when it comes to good governance. So basically, when it comes to good governance, we have made sure that the Constitution, which is in fact the anchor to all these other institutions of governance, it has been enhanced. And among them, if you get to the opposition political parties from the 2016 Constitution, you find that we now have a leader of the opposition, which was not the same scenario before that. So basically, when it comes to the issues of the voices, divergent views, they are well addressed in our legislature now. They have that leader of the opposition, just like it is with the main ruling party. So basically, we have been demonstrating leadership, and we have continued building on what the previous government have been building, and that is to make sure that everybody continues participating and talking freely. And you know, we are living in times when things are no longer the same the way it was before 2011, especially that the liberalization of these airwaves. We make sure that more radio station and TV station, they are made to operate freely and to open up to the 18 million people across this vast nation of ours. So that's where we stand as at today, and more will be communicated in line with good governance.
There are so many issues that actually embroil the good governance and democracy aspect, and in this regard, there are issues of the rule of law and constitutionalism, which are some of the key issues insofar as enhancing democracy is concerned. And there have been, issues also on respecting the separation of powers and issues that border on that. They actually need to be, given that mandate as a prerequisite in this particular regard. Talking about the institutions of governance, they need that independence in the way they actually operate. They shouldn't have any interference whatsoever. The judiciary must, work independently, devoid of any intimidation whatsoever from another part, which is actually, the legislature. There must not be any, interference in that regard. The executive as well must not be able to, interfere in the affairs of the judiciary. But of course, they only need to take up what they are supposed to take up, arising from the interpretation and matters that are arising from the judiciary thereof. Now, in this regard, there have been accusations, and also issues that the judiciary actually is being interfered, with by the executive. Such are some of those issues that have been. How is the Patriotic Front going to dispel that allegation for the enhancement of, the separation of powers?
Yes, Comrade McFarlane, if you look at the separation of powers, we have dispelled those rumors as far as 2016, the amendment, is it the changes which were made to the Constitution? And among them, I think it's coming on board of the Constitutional Court. And the Constitutional Court, it has demonstrated its independence, its judgment, and then it has demonstrated leadership when it comes to the role of interpreting the law, so that it may help both the stakeholders being the opposition, and then also the non-partisan people, and then those who are in the ruling. Some of the things which I can give you an example. It's that one of, is it the ruling over the ministers? Those who are remained in office for almost, is it equivalent to 6 months? And to this very day, you can see what happened. They are paying back, they have been forced to pay back the money. And not only can I say they were forced, but they complied with what the law says. The other one is the interpretation of the presidential clause. Is it the presidential term? And then also the eligibility of one Edgar Chagwalung, which was taken by the Danny Pules. And then the other ones, it's to do with the legislature.
Of course, the court hasn't ruled the eligibility. There was only the interpretation that was taken to the court, the interpretation of, as to whether President Edgar Lungu actually served, 2 terms. That was
interpreted.
In court, not the eligibility aspect.
And to us, that's what has interpreted the eligibility. And the others, those who are asking,
they misinterpret. They talk about eligibility when the court actually was dealing with the matter to do with whether the head of state actually served, 2 terms.
Yes. So this is the reason why the Katua Member of Parliament has taken the issue again to the same legislature, believing that what has been happening in the Patriotic Front, to those who doubt that the justice there, it will be given to the Member of Parliament for Katuba constituency. So when it comes to the PF, enhancing the judiciary in this country. We have demonstrated leadership, and we have continued on that positive trajectory, that we have made sure that the legislature and the judiciary and the executive, they are independent, because the judiciary, through the this new constitutional court, it has continued independent, executing its duties diligently. And now, coming to the same enhancement of the same judicial independence, just I think almost for 7 days to 8 days ago, the president was adding more judges to the High Court, and then also to the same Constitutional Court. So for us as the Patriotic Front, we have continued demonstrating to the rest of the country that we respect the independence of the judiciary, and we respect the independence of the legislature. And this is the reason why, if you look at the legislature, we were advocating for the changes to the constitution through the Bill 10. But at the end of the day, the opposition carried the day. Those who are not agreeing with the legislature to go ahead to change the laws, they had refused. And there was no intervention of the executive. So basically, as the Patriotic Front, we have continued demonstrating that the arms of government, these three arms of government, they have been executing their roles independently without any interference from the upper echelons.
All right, so let's get to look at another aspect, which is one of the issues embedded in the Patriotic Front PF latest manifesto of 2021 to 2026.
Yes.
We look at issues of media development and freedom of the press. And this is a commitment to the Patriotic Front.
Yes.
Now, the manifesto actually says, as I quote, the PF acknowledges that the media, both print and electronic, are important contributors to democracy, rather democratic processes and good governance. The PF is fully committed to promoting and enhancing media freedom and independence, the protection of media personnel from harassment, and allowing for regulation among media facility practitioners and media institutions. Okay, end of quote of this particular aspect. Now, we've seen a lot of times where we see no independence of media. Can we say this was not in the old PF manifesto, or it was there, it is now just being enhanced?
It has always been there, but this time it has been enhanced. Okay. So that we have been looking at the way the nation has been developing in terms of journalism, and then also the way media has been unfolding. So basically, for us, the media has critically played a major role. Even before 2011, we had used the media massively to see to market ourselves, to market the manifesto, that one which was based on more money in our pockets across the nation. So basically, it's not new, and we continue. I think I had also talked about the president somewhere in 2020. He had spoken about recognizing the media being the fourth estate. And so that is being a shadow fourth arm of government after maybe the judiciary and the legislature and the executive. That is the position that we have always taken. So basically, it's not new. We have always taken the media to be our friends and to be our friends of development. Without the media, we are nothing. But normally, when it comes to independence, people would want the many newscaster, and that is the ZMBC, which is 100% owned by the government, to be more like very accommodative to other views, which has not been the case, because it is there to promote government programs and also to make sure that people are educated. So if you look at the many broadcaster, their duty is that one of informing the nation, educating the nation, and to make sure that the decisions which have been made by these three arms of government, they reach to all the corners of this great country. And this is the reason why our emphasis has been that one of let's promote the private sector to participate fully and to exploit the potential which is there.
Okay, now going forward, since this is a manifesto for the Patriotic Front from this year, 2021, when is it starting to be effected, or has it already started being effected?
No, it cannot start to be effected. It cannot be effected immediately when we are ushered into power, when we are given the mandate from September 12th until 2026.
All right.
But as at today, we are mandated now to just give the Zambian people what we are thinking should be the right direction, the right route to take where we stand as a nation today.
All right. Now, 2021 August 12 general elections. How prepared is the Patriotic Front? And of course, using the manifesto that was recently launched, what should the people expect arising from a respect for media freedoms, and also issues bordering on acknowledging the media, both print and electronic, which you as PF say that are important contributors to democratic processes and good governance? What do we expect as regards to how the Patriotic Front government is actually going to handle issues pertaining to the independence of the media, and how the PF is going to respect the media?
You know, we have had some sad instances where we have had some party functionaries or those who claim themselves to be PF affiliated, those who have been storming in radio stations on behalf of the party, claiming this. But we have consistently demonstrated that we have always distanced from such. And this time around, I think the policy statement is very simple. We will continue educating our people. That is the people who are in charge of this country, and that is the party functionaries whom are mandated to make sure that they communicate positive messages to our people, and they take the same good governance values to all the far-flung areas, and to make sure that the journalist is protected and the civil servant continue executing his duties diligently. So basically, with us, we have always demonstrated, we have always shown leadership when we have such erring members of our party. And then, this is a very big family. There are situations where you find that others who claim to be party functionaries, they are not even at all close to where the party register is. So those, we have always shown them where to go, and that is to face the books of the police. And the police has, I think, demonstrated leadership in this. And there was just last month a judgment to do with these cadres who are wearing these attires of military, who have been jailed almost 20 years. So it shows how serious this government is. And you would want to have a leadership that follows the laws of this country. As the president said it, I want everybody to associate himself with this party, and at the same time want to associate with my name, my administration, to be positive in these values, in fostering development, in fostering these values of good governance, so that at the end of the day, the Zambian people whom we serve, we can serve them diligently and without any fear.
All right, dear listener, this is the Talking Point radio program, and I'm actually speaking to the information and publicity desk of the Patriotic Front, who is actually the chief administrator, Mr. Erasmus Chendelamkonda. And we are looking at issues bordering on the 2021 general election, and as we also extract issues from their latest manifesto, and there are a lot of issues that have been tackled thereof. So violence has been something as well that has made sure that people get to fear to go and, number one, cast their vote, participate in elections. Women now are fearing to participate in politics, because their women are emotional, and when such kind of issues are actually recorded each and every single day, they actually get to be deterred from participating in elections. Let's see how, as we head towards 2021 August 12 general election, how the women are going to be protected and be ensured assured that they are free to participate in elections where they will be protected from that regard.
Well, the issue of violence, I think it takes two to tango, and that is the opposition, those who are in the opposition, and then those who are in the ruling. So basically, this violence that we have, I want not to give a big share to the opposition, but to share it equally. As the president demonstrated when he was opening the SONA, in his SONA this year, he said that he assured the nation that this issue of violence, this issue of injustice, this issue of sowing hatred, bitterness, and discord in the nation should be dealt before, during, and after. And he has said this government, to show leadership, it has invested in 2020. It invested a lot, massively, of money, of a lot of resources in making sure that those who are mandated to maintain peace have the resources, and that is the police. And we have seen a lot of resources, even technology, infrastructure, that has been dotted across the nation to make sure that this peace that the president was talking about is secured for all the Zambians. And when it comes to the women, also should I include for those people who are disabled, those people, the disability, those who constitute almost, 2 million of this population of out of 18 million. It's important that they understand, and we demonstrate leadership to everyone across the board that this government is not leaving anyone behind. According to this 7th National Development Plan that is rolling up to December this year. So basically, when you're talking about the issues of sharing an equal share, having the women participating into this democracy, we are asking both the ruling and those from the opposition to help this leadership, this administration, in speaking the same language of saying, before where we stand today, let us continue championing peace. Where we stand today, let us continue speaking to our youths and our women to participate into this intra-party politics, especially that at this moment we are having intra-party election. Let's encourage our women folk to participate, because there won't be time to participate if we get to the during. The during, that is, as we go through this election on that particular day, the 24th, is it the 12th of August?
Yes.
So you cannot participate on the 12th of August if you are not preparing yourself as of today adequately to participate in these political parties. And I think let all political players, be it in the ruling and in the opposition, help our women, or allow deliberate our women to take that position of representing themselves, representing us, and then the rest of the country. So when it comes to violence at intra-party level, this one should be shared equally. Let the Patriotic Front allow its members, the women folk, to participate 100%, so that we can have a lot of women on the councillor level, on the MP level, and then also on the chairmanship level. And then I think also goes exactly with the opposition. Let the women participate so that they can carry the day as councillors, as MPs, and then also as council chairpersons and mayors. So this goes for both parties at intra-party level, because when you're talking about intra-party level and representation, we are not talking about the PF and the UPND. We are talking about each party allowing their aspiring members deliberately that we should bring on board the disabled, we should bring on board these women, so that at the end of the day, once they are aspiring as candidates, they will carry on the peaceful messages as they go on different podiums across the nation. And that can only be achieved if they participate. So that's the first step. And then the during one, women should not be scared to participate they should do still participate by monitoring, making sure that whatever they have invested in before the same elections produce the same result. Because at the end of the day, you find that if women let everything to the men, you find the men who emerge as winners. And then thereafter, when we lose, if somebody wins, if somebody loses, we should accept and concede defeat, so that we move out as a nation which is united, as a nation that promotes these rules, the tenets of governance. That is good governance. And good governance can only be accepted, it can only be demonstrated if we accept the electoral results.
All right, let's get to look at issues of, the cost of electricity, which the PF government actually, the PF party actually, wishes to address as we get towards the August election. And people have been complaining of load shedding. We've been hearing people, and you have come to this, radio many times.
Many times in 2019, 2020, to be
saying that, electricity load shedding will be a thing of the past. That was last year when you told me so here, and you told the listeners, and people are still complaining. What's been the problem?
Well, as we stand today, Comrade McFarlane, you can testify to me that load shedding is now history. It's no longer the load shedding that we had undergone through you and me in 2016, 2017, 2018, and the worst was 2019, when we had almost 10 hours of load shedding. And in some places, it was almost 20.
Load shedding, even if it goes for an hour, it's load shedding. It's not power cut.
Well, I think load shedding, the terminology itself came about with ZESCO getting into digitalization. Load shedding is basically the computers. They are able to monitor the electricity, the way it is being distributed on the national grid. If they see that, let's say, Mwinilunga, there seems to be an indicator of too much consumption of electricity, it's overloading, then they need to shed by stabilizing the system. So that's how that terminology of load shedding came into play. Now it has become too political, whereby anything
in short, we can say kuzima zima kwa malai.
Kuzima zima kwa malai. Now that's the management of ZESCO itself.
Okay.
It has computerized this national grid.
What has been causing that?
The computer, it is computerized, so it is the engineers themselves. They are able to monitor various places. If they say that this other
incompetence,
no, it's not. It has nothing to do with incompetence, but technology itself. It's only that technology nowadays, they are monitoring the grid. Previously, we would go on with it's one of the preventive measures of not having this is it the gensets, not the genset really, but the power station having gutted. And for a long time now, I think after the introduction of this load shedding, we have never had these instances of losing this power station, and then also these mini centers that they use to generate or to distribute electricity. So basically, this is a computer terminology which has become too political, such that people, they think load shedding, it's maybe lack of water or it's a lack of electricity, but basically it's part of just a management system by ZESCO itself. Okay. So basically, the engineers, the people who are working at ZESCO, that's how they monitor the system. If they see that Chadre electricity it has not been going on smoothly, they will switch it off so that it stabilizes. Eventually, they will tell the people. I think that cannot be political. That cannot be something which has been new into the Zambian setup. The switching off of electricity has been happening as well back as 1978 or somewhere there. But it is just that it has now been attributed to that one of where we have a deficit. Where we stand as today, we can have a deficit maybe, but it has been minimized. But as we stand today, the deficit which was causing the shedding of 12 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours, it's no longer there. But that one which is now happening, it's part of the routine management of this national grid by ZESCO.
All right. Now, looking at issues of energy, and we're talking about electricity before we go to oil energy
Yes.
in this regard.
Mm.
The cost of electricity is just high. People are complaining. You buy electricity for 500 kwacha, you buy maybe units of